Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. This video is part of the 5 under $5 challenge. This is such a fun collaboration that is hosted each month by Missy at the Crafty Cove, as well as by Emily at Farm Charm Chic. And each month there is a different guest host, and this month it is Elizabeth at Southern G. Moore Girls. Playlist means lots of inspiration. There's about 20 to 25 people who usually participate in this monthly, so there are going to be a whole lot of last minute gift ideas. So be sure to check out all those links in my description box down below. All right, let's get started. This first DIY, we're going to make some earrings. So you need 2 of the wood mini snowflakes from the Dollar Tree, 2 wood mini snowflakes and or trees, a drill and small bit, furniture and paint markers, earring hooks, jump rings, super glue, and we're looking at a total of 15 cents to about 35 cents per pair. We're going to make a couple pairs of earrings. So these snowflakes you get at the Dollar Tree. So I just took the smallest drill bit that we had on hand and drilled a hole, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I ended up having to sort of pull it up and hold it to get it to drill through. I just was really worried I was going to break the drill bit because they are very thin. So I get my 2 holes in there, and then I sanded them down a little bit because it did make it pretty jagged. And then I took this poker tool and just poked anything through that was kind of shard, it kind of splits there. And so once I got that all done and they were nice and flush and looked clean, I took these furniture markers from the Dollar Tree, and Tami at Happiness Created sent me these, and I just could not be more thankful. I couldn't find them, and they're amazing. I absolutely love them. So as you had seen, I did that little square so that I knew which color was what. I end up going mahogany, and I do both sides of both of my snowflakes. And then I took these little guys, and I got this in a kit of like 150 different ones on Amazon, and they're just teeny tiny. So I took a metallic white marker from the Dollar Tree and used that to color those white. And then I take some jump rings, and I do 1 jump ring through my hole that I had drilled on the snowflake, and then do another jump ring so that it hangs correctly. Otherwise it would hang crooked when you wear it. And then put the hook on for your ear. I usually do these mostly by hand, and then towards the end, when it comes to getting them nice and tight, I do grab a pair of pliers. I take this gel super glue. This is my absolute favorite super glue, this Loctite glue, and it's mostly because of the thing that it's in to squeeze it out. It's amazing. And I just glue my little snowflake to my big one. That's it for those ones. And for these ones, this was really, really easy. I just took a green paint marker. These trees came in that same kit, the little teeny tiny snowflakes, and then we are going to add a jump ring to the tree, and I did drill holes in the tops of these as well. They did not have holes, so I did take the drill and that drill bit and draw holes. And then we do another jump ring and then the earring hook. And that is it for these earrings, and I think that they're really cute, and they're super light. You will notice that on the tree I did not color the back. I do end up going back and coloring that at green as well. So you got to let me know, what do you think? Would you wear these? Would you gift them? Do you like them? Give me all your thoughts in the comments below. For DIY number 2, to make this little drop box, you will need a wood tray or grate. I did get it at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. You'll need some fake leather. I also picked up at the Dollar Tree paint, baby wipes, lettering, hot glue, and then you're looking at about $1.56 total. A little more if you need to pick up some stickers or lettering. This project was made with my husband in mind, and funny story, I told him what I was making, and he was totally on board with it and actually helped me design bits and pieces of it, and he is going to use this. So that was kind of cool. So anyways, I got this little crate at the Dollar Tree. I don't know, I guess technically it's a tray, crate, whatever you got around, and then you can just paint it or decorate it however you like. I am just using some brown acrylic paint, and then I'm just applying it with a baby wipe, sort of give that rich dark color, but you can still tell that it's a wood tone underneath. And this This takes some patience and some time because these are really rough cut and the baby wipe kept fuzzing off. And so I had quite a few fuzzies on it at the end that I then used some tape to get off. But so maybe painting it would be easier. I thought this was going to be easier, but a coat of paint might have been the way to go. You could also use like antique wax or a stain. There were areas that I ended up grabbing a brush as they had glue on them, and paint applied with the baby wipe would not stick to those areas. So I did grab a brush and do the corners where it was glued down and a couple other areas that it just wouldn't stick. Next, I took some of this fake leather from the Dollar Tree and I just cut a piece to size. And I don't know why, but I guess I just don't push hard enough with these roller cutters. I did a decent job, but then I ended up finishing it with the scissors. And then it doesn't quite fit perfectly. So I just take and sort of score the edges where I want to cut with a little scorer. And then I pull it out and trim it up so that it fits down on the inside. Now, I don't end up gluing this down. But I intend to. I will probably just use like the 77 glue. I can't think of what else it's called. The spray glue to stick this down inside. You could also leave it so that it's not stuck down, so that you could pull it out to wash it or whatever. So then I take the rest of my little line of the fake leather and cut it in half. And I'm going to take and use this to wrap around the handles. And so I'm just figuring out what size I need it, and then I trim it down to the size that will fit through there. And then I am going to take some hot glue. You could sew this, but I thought that hot glue would just be easier. So I am going to take some hot glue and I'm going to glue down the edges so that I have nice clean edges on either side. Then I complete the process with the other one and make sure that they are similar in size. And then I'm going to apply them. And in order to get the edge so that it doesn't stick up, it sticks down instead, this will make more sense as you watch. You want to glue the rough edge facing up. And then we're going to go through the handle hole and just wrap it around until we get to the end. And so what I did was I wrapped it and then I looked and seen how much I need to cut off to make it glue on the inside of the tray. And so then I trim it up and then fold over and glue that edge so that it's a nice clean edge, and then glue it to itself with the hot glue. So then we are going to flip it over, apply some hot glue, and stick it down. I think it really just adds a really fun touch. Finally, I took and cut out this wording on the Cricut, and my husband picked this gold color that he wanted on the side, so I did that. I applied it to the side, and it just simply says pocket stuff. And you could use stickers and then coat it with some Mod Podge if you don't have a Cricut. You could also print some lettering, and then you color pencil on the back side, and then on the front you use pen to trace it, and it sort of burnishes it into the wood, and then you can paint over that. So don't think that if you don't have a Cricut you cannot get this done. My Cricut's fairly new, so I was doing these methods and I love doing all of it. I just happened to use the Cricut this time. So what do you guys think? My husband works in the trades, and he gets home and there's just stuff in his pockets, you know? He's got his pen and his earplugs and I don't know what all, his soapstone and his markers and and now he just has a drop spot for all of it because he likes to keep it together because it goes back in his pocket the next day. But I don't like it all over the counter. So this is a good solution. DIY number 3, we're going to make a countdown to Christmas or advent calendar. So you'll need the little mini bells and the little mini gingerbread, or whichever ones of your choice, at the Dollar Tree, paint and or paint markers, magnetic board, magnetic sheet, numbers, Mod Podge, and we're looking about $2.93 for this project. So I have had this magnetic chalkboard for a really long time. It has seen better days, but I decided I was going to make a advent calendar out of it. And so initially I was gonna put these squares on there that I cut out on the Cricut, but I didn't end up liking the way it looked. And see, it's pretty beat up. So I went over it with some chalk paint, some black chalkboard paint, excuse me. And then I took these bells and I just colored them with paint markers, and I just did several different colors just to kind of make it fun. And so, yeah, I used paint markers and then those metallic markers from the Dollar Tree. And then for the gingerbread men, I took a little bit of brown paint and applied it with a baby wipe. It sort of makes it go on a little bit more like a stain. And so that is what I did for them. And since cutting it out of my Cricut didn't end up working, this is me trying to figure out exactly where to draw lines here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, it's a chalkboard permanent marker. You know, it looks like chalk, and I am going to draw it on with that. So I start by doing the edges of my calendar. And my plan for this was so that I didn't draw over the edges, but I end up doing it anyways. Once I get the border done, I go ahead and start doing my middle lines. And these ones were really easy because I just did them the size of the ruler and it worked out well. Going the other direction, I had to add almost 1/4 of an inch just to make them long enough for the ornaments. And so that's me just kind of measuring across a couple times so that I can draw a straight-ish line. So once I get it done, I decide to put what I have painted in to see if I like the way they look. And I decide last minute that I don't like the way that I had them ordered. I wanted them mixed up, which means I need to do 2 extra bells. So I end up doing 2 extra bells, and it also means that my Christmas one didn't work. So I traded the rectangle out for a square. And then I go in and touch up the edges. The paint just scrapes right off of the metal, so that makes the edges easy. But where I had drawn the lines crossways, I decided I didn't want those, and so I went in and touched up with the black chalkboard paint. I was going to use these little magnets that you get at the Dollar Tree, but 2 things. To keep it super cost effective, it was cheaper to use these magnetic sheets, and also you don't have to glue these because they are sticky on the back. So a sheet of these, I buy these on Amazon. You get like 10 in a pack, and a sheet of them works out to be $1.70, but I end up using only a fraction of this. In my figures, I just figured that I used about 1/4 of it. So I think I figured 40 some cents or something. Now, if you were actually, this is for my kids, but if you were actually gifting it, you may prefer the discs because they're all the same, and mine did not work out to be that way. So basically, I just took the magnetic sheet, cut it up into little pieces that would fit on the back of the magnets that I was creating, and then just stuck it on. And that is it for creating the magnets for the Advent calendar or countdown to Christmas. I had originally used the baby white paint method to do a rectangle for Christmas Day, but it ended up not working after I changed everything up in the middle. So I'm just doing that. I'm just using a little bit of paint and a baby wipe to stain this little wooden square, and this is going to be the Christmas Day one. And then I got these little transfers at the Dollar Tree, so I am just cutting out the deer one. And then you just simply lay it down on the wood and use, I think they're called burnishers. Is that right? I don't know. Anyways, one of these things, or you could use a credit card or something to rub it off onto your surface. And it does take some time and frankly quite a lot of patience. And the last step in my project was to just put a coat of Mod Podge over the chalkboard surface just to seal it all in and make sure that that vinyl sticks when we are putting the magnets on and off of it. Forgot to mention, this board I think I picked up at the dollar spot at Target years and years and years ago. But you can get something similar at most hobby shops, or if you want to keep it really cost effective, I did see these at the Dollar Tree recently, and it is just galvanized metal in a frame, and you could just decorate the frame real cute and then do a similar process and you would have yourself a magnetic countdown to Christmas. So here it is, all completed with nothing on it, and then the little thing on the bottom works great to hold the magnets, and so we put them down there, and then each day we just grab one and put it on the coordinating number. And when it's all full, we know it's Christmas Day. I'd love to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave me a comment below. I'd love to know if this is something that you ever think that you might try and recreate. DIY number 4, we're going to make some hand warmers. You'll need material. I picked these up at Walmart for $1.98 each. I figure I used about half of each of them. Rice, sewing supplies, a funnel, and if you prefer, an essential oil. And so we're looking at about $1.98. I had the other stuff on hand. Instead of buying felt at the Dollar Tree, I bought this scarf because it was thicker, same price, and so soft. So what I did here is I cut out a square out of this material that I got at Walmart, and then I am cutting up 4 squares. I am going to make a set of 2 different hand warmers. And so I get all my squares ready, and we put like sides together with the scarf. It doesn't really matter. And then I am going to sew it all together, leaving a hole so that I can insert my rice. And I apologize for the view here. I know you cannot see me sewing it at all. I've never tried to record sewing, and I just actually got this machine this summer when I was home visiting Mom. She gave it to me, and it's been a long time since I have sewn. It's been before I had children. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not the best person to get advice from. So if you are a sewer and you see anything on here that makes you crazy, don't hesitate to give me some tips. Okay, so I have my 3 sides together, except I left a little hole. And in hindsight, I sort of wish I would have made it just a little bit bigger. I did not leave much because I don't like to hand stitch. So I trim up any thread that I have hanging off. And then we are going to flip it inside out because remember we did like sides together. And then I always use a pencil eraser to push the corners out because it doesn't poke through. Nice soft surface. So I am poking the corners out, and then I do take an iron and iron it just a little bit, getting it through that teeny tiny hole wrinkled it quite a bit. And then I take a funnel and some rice. Now I have seen people add like essential oils to the rice so that when you heat it in the microwave it doesn't smell like rice, but instead the essential oil. And so I do end up mixing some essential oil with rice before I do the other ones, but I didn't capture that on video. So you can add oil or not, whatever is your preference. So I get it to the fullness that I like. And then the last step with these is just to hand sew your hole shut. And so you sort of fold in the cut edges so that you have a nice clean edge, and then thread the needle, and then I just loop it through and then sew it shut. And I don't really know how to explain that any better. And then once I get to the end, I make sure no rice is going to fall out. See what I mean by I'm not the best sewer? That's my indicator, and if it's sewed good enough, not how well it looks. And so then just to tie it off, I just pull it through the end and cut it off. And I usually pull it through quite a ways away from where I finish sewing. And so then I think these would be really cute paired with a pair of gloves. So your set of hand warmers, which I realize there's only one in this picture, and then a pair of gloves. And then I love the fleece on the other side. That just makes them really soft but yet festive on the other side. So here you go. Here is a video of all 4 of them done. The set with the cardinals and the set with the trucks. And then I will just pair each set with a pair of gloves. For our final DIY, we are doing a coffee mug with coffee in a little bag. So you'll need a coffee mug, a mini fabric bag, both I picked up at the Dollar Tree, a design of your choice to put on the cup, lettering to put on the bag if you wish, dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and we're looking at about $1.67 plus the cost of coffee. Is it really a last minute gift video without a coffee mug one? So I picked these up at the Dollar Tree, and there's 3 of them in a pack, these little bags, and I had to do some trimming to get them to look neat. There's just random strings everywhere. So that is what I am doing here, is just trimming them up. So you get 3 in a pack for $1.25. And I am going to take and apply some heat transfer vinyl to this with just the words typed out, coffee first. Now, before I applied it, I decided to put something in the bag to protect the tree on the other side. And so I am just using some parchment paper, and this worked out really slick. I've done these before where they stick to themselves because the other side is likely a similar vinyl type stuff as well, and it did not work well. So I get my coffee first weeded or printed and weeded, and then I am just going to use my little tiny mini press and just press it down. Now, if you do not have a cutting machine, you can get the fabric paints and you could stencil this on or hand draw it. You could also just gift it without this on the back. You could just gift it with the tree on the front, and it doesn't need to say anything at all. Then I took one of these plain cream mugs from the Dollar Tree, and I am just going to use the thumbnail on the back side of this 2022 calendar. I just chose the Farm Fresh Christmas trees, and you could do anything on this cup, any sorts of paint. So what I want to do is I want to try that dishwasher safe Mod Podge and see how well it really does. And so especially with like something like this, because in my brain there's just no way to seal paper that it can go through the dishwasher. And so we're going to give it a try. So you take this thumbnail and we are going to put down a layer of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and then you put your thumbnail on there and then give it a nice good coat over it. And I can't remember, but the jar says to add several coats. You let them dry between and then add several more coats. And then you actually have to let this cure for, I believe it's nearly a month before you actually run it through the dishwasher. Because if it does well, I mean, can you tissue paper, napkins, so many different things you could use to decorate a mug. And I just do a simple thumbnail. If you're an artist, you could do up your own trees with paints and all sorts of stuff, and then just seal it with this dishwasher safe Mod Podge. So here you go. What do you think? It's very simple. And we'll just add a little bit of one of those little sample bags of coffee and throw that in the cup, and you got yourself a nice little gift for maybe the neighbor or coworker. Do a quick last peek at the 5 last minute gifts we did. We have the 2 pairs of earrings, and then we have the coffee mug with the little bag. And I know this would be much cuter staged if I had one of those little bags of coffee, but I don't. And then we have the hand warmers, and then we will pair them with a pair of gloves. And I did do the 2 different kinds. We have the Christmas countdown that I did for the kids, the magnetic Christmas countdown. And then finally, we have the little pocket stuffed tray. All right, so I want to know, which one will you make? Who will it go to? Hit me with some comments. I also want to thank you for watching this video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the support. If you're new, huge welcome. I hope that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful holiday season and make it a great day.